Ladies and gentlemen, friends and dreamers, in a world that seems to thrive on noise, chaos, and drama, the greatest power you can wield is not the loudest voice, but the quietest action. It's the ability to not react, but to stand firm in silence, cutting off all that seeks to distract or diminish you. And I'm not talking about silence as a form of submission or weakness. No, I'm talking about a silence that is the result of wisdom, a silence that says, I don't need to engage with every battle because I am focused on the war won and winning. You see, the nature of reaction is dangerous. It's easy to fall into the trap of reacting impulsively to everything, whether it's someone's criticism, a situation that isn't going your way, or the negativity that seems to surround you. But let me tell you this, every time you react, you give up a piece of your power. Reactions are often driven by emotions, anger, fear, frustration, and these emotions blind you from seeing the bigger picture. Reacting without thought only serves to distance you from your purpose. It takes you off course and robs you of peace. But silence. Silence is strength. Silence is the deliberate choice not to engage, not because you're weak, but because you are strong enough to walk away from what doesn't serve you. You don't need to entertain every drama. You don't need to prove your worth to those who don't recognize it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply to cut off what isn't aligned with your growth. It's not about confrontation, it's about preservation. About preservation of your energy, your time, and your peace. Mastering this art of cutting off requires emotional control. True strength is not found in reacting to every attack or slight that comes your way. True strength is found in the ability to remain centered, to stay calm, and to choose silence over foolish engagement. A calm person can never be easily swayed. A person who controls their emotions doesn't allow life to control them. And let me tell you, when you gain control over your emotions, you gain control over your destiny. You no longer allow others' actions to dictate your state of mind. Now, as you cut off distractions and refuse to react, something powerful begins to happen. Your life becomes more focused. Imagine if you didn't have to waste time on petty disagreements, toxic relationships, or the distractions of negativity. Imagine the energy you could redirect into your goals, your vision, your dreams. The more you choose silence over reaction, the more room you make for your higher purpose. You start to rise above the noise and you realize that your time, your energy, your thoughts, these are the most valuable things you possess. When you preserve them, you allow yourself to build a life of significance. And so I leave you with this: be a silent warrior. Don't just react. Stand still with quiet confidence and cut off everything that is not part of your destiny. When you choose silence, you choose to elevate. You choose to rise above. You choose to be the master of your own life, not a slave to your emotions or the opinions of others. The world will keep shouting. People will keep talking. But you, my friend, will stay grounded. You will walk in peace, in purpose, and in power. Take control. Cut off what drains you and rise silently above the noise. Thank you. This speech seeks to empower the listener to find strength in silence, focusing on the benefits of emotional control, cutting off distractions, and maintaining a purposeful life. What would happen if you stopped reacting to every word, every action, every provocation that came your way? What if you stopped for just a moment, took a breath, and considered what silence might do for you? We live in a world that is constantly calling for our attention, pushing us to respond to every slight, every opinion, every comment, like we're obligated to engage in every exchange, to be involved in every conversation, to react to every situation. But I tell you today, there is incredible power in silence. And I'm not talking about silence as a passive retreat or an act of avoidance. I'm talking about the power of silence that comes from a deep place of wisdom, self-awareness, and control. You see, when you don't react, you create space. You create space between the stimulus, the thing that happens, and your response. And it is in that space where your true power lies. It is in that moment when you stop, and instead of impulsively reacting, you choose to observe, to reflect, to decide the kind of energy you want to engage with. The truth is, when you react, you surrender. You surrender control of your emotions, your peace, your focus. The moment you react to a situation, you are allowing that situation to define your state of being. But when you remain silent, when you don't react, you take that power back. There is a unique strength in not reacting, because in that moment you demonstrate that you are not ruled by external circumstances. You are not tossed around by every wind of emotion or every passing storm. You are rooted, you are calm, you are aware of your own value, and you know that not everything deserves your energy. Not every word deserves your response. Not every action demands a reply. And the moment you stop reacting, you begin to guard your peace with intentionality. People often mistake silence for weakness, but silence is not a surrender, it's a strategy. It's a choice to protect your mind, your soul, your spirit. It's a declaration that you are not here to play the petty games that the world tries to drag you into. It's an understanding that not everything that's thrown your way needs to be caught. That not every insult needs to be returned. That not every misunderstanding needs to be clarified. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing at all. Because in your silence, you are speaking volumes. When you choose to cut off the noise, you are choosing to protect your energy. Think about it. Every time you engage in unnecessary conflict, every time you give in to the impulse to defend yourself, every time you try to convince someone of your worth, you lose a little piece of your power. But when you remain silent, you preserve your strength for what matters. You choose not to waste your precious time on what isn't aligned with your purpose. You don't waste your breath on negativity, because you know there are better, more important things for you to focus on. And let me tell you, there is something profoundly freeing about not feeling the need to react. When you don't react, you create space for peace, for clarity, for focus. You stop being a puppet to your emotions and you become the master of your own soul. You begin to recognize that you don't have to engage with everything that comes your way. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to defend your worth, your character, or your choices. Because you know who you are. You know where you're going. You understand that not everyone who tries to pull you into their chaos is worth your attention. And the more you practice this, the more you begin to understand the power of choice. The power to choose your reactions, or more often, the power to choose not to react. The power to remain calm, centered, and unwavering in the face of provocation. You will realize that in choosing silence, you are actually aligning yourself with a higher level of self-respect. You are honoring your own value by not lowering yourself to engage in every distraction. You rise above. You rise above petty disagreements. You rise above insults. You rise above drama. And as you rise, you find that your vision becomes clearer. Your mind becomes sharper. Your purpose becomes more defined. You stop being a victim of the noise and you begin to navigate your life with intention and clarity. You begin to focus on your goals, your dreams, and your vision. Your energy is no longer scattered, dissipated across every petty confrontation or every attempt to draw you into someone else's mess. Instead, your energy is focused on the things that will take you higher, focused on the things that matter, focused on your destiny. This is the power of silence. The power to cut off what doesn't serve you, to eliminate the distractions that pull you away from your purpose. The power to choose peace over conflict, clarity over confusion, wisdom over emotion. It's the power to walk in your truth, to stand strong in who you are, and to rise above the noise, because you know that silence doesn't mean submission. It means strength. It means wisdom. It means knowing that you don't have to engage with everything that tries to bring you down. You don't have to react. You just have to rise. The nature of reaction is one of the most powerful forces at work in our lives, but often it works against us. You see, when we react, we are no longer in control. Our impulses, emotions, and external circumstances take over, and we are swept up in the current of whatever is happening around us. It's as if we're no longer making conscious decisions. We're simply responding to the moment, to the energy of others, and sometimes that energy isn't one we want to mirror. It's easy to get caught in this cycle of reaction, but the truth is, every time we react, we give up a part of ourselves. We lose a piece of our power, a piece of our peace. Think about it for a moment. When someone insults you, when life doesn't go as planned, or when someone lets you down, how do you respond? Often we react out of emotion, anger, frustration, sadness, fear, because we feel an immediate need to respond. It's almost like we're wired to defend ourselves, to correct the situation, to make ourselves feel better. And while it may feel good in the moment, that reaction can often escalate the situation. It doesn't solve the problem, it just makes it louder. It intensifies the energy that you don't need in your life. And what happens next? You find yourself emotionally drained. You're left with a sense of dissatisfaction because your reaction didn't bring you peace. It didn't bring you closer to your goals or your higher purpose. It only brought you more turmoil. This is the trap of reacting without thought. We think that reacting will give us control or make us feel better, but it often does the opposite. It drains our energy, diverts our focus, and clouds our judgment. Every time we react emotionally, we allow someone or something else to take the wheel of our lives, and suddenly we're no longer steering toward our vision, we're steering toward chaos. The challenge here is not in the emotion itself. Anger, frustration, sadness, and even fear are natural responses to certain situations. The challenge is in how we choose to handle those emotions. Do we allow them to control us, or do we take a step back and make a deliberate choice to rise above them? Do we let the actions of others define our emotional state, or do we choose to respond with wisdom, with intention, and with control? The truth is, we don't need to react to everything. We have the power to pause. We have the power to take a breath and say, this does not require my immediate response. In that pause, we can gain clarity. In that pause, we can observe the situation with a calm mind and decide the most thoughtful, intentional response. The more we practice this, the more we begin to see that not every action needs a reaction, and not every challenge is something that requires our emotional involvement. Sometimes it's far more powerful to simply let things be. When you stop reacting to everything that happens, you begin to take control of your life. You no longer live at the mercy of every external force that comes your way. You become the master of your emotions and the master of your decisions. You choose to respond, not react. You choose to elevate your mind and spirit above the noise and the chaos. And it is in that space of non-reaction that true peace resides. The peace that comes when you realize that you are in control of how you respond. That peace comes from recognizing that the world does not dictate your emotional state, you do. You don't have to let the actions of others pull you into their drama. You don't have to engage with everything that tries to disrupt your peace. Instead, you can rise above. You can choose silence over conflict, understanding over frustration, patience over anger. In every moment of potential reaction, you have a choice. You can react out of emotion, or you can pause, think, and choose a response that aligns with your highest purpose. The power is yours, the more. There is a strength that comes not from engaging with everything, but from knowing when to cut things off. It's a quiet, often misunderstood strength, one that doesn't make headlines, doesn't demand attention, and doesn't seek validation from others. Yet, this strength is one of the most powerful tools you have in your journey toward growth and success. It is the strength of cutting off what is not serving you, cutting off what is draining your energy, cutting off what is pulling you away from your highest purpose. Now, I know this may sound radical to some. Cutting things off. We've been conditioned to think that in order to be successful, we need to be constantly connected, constantly involved, constantly in the mix. We've been taught that relationships, even toxic ones, are sacred, that we must hold on at all costs. But let me tell you something, there are moments in life when holding on to the wrong things is not loyalty, it's self-sabotage. There are times when the most powerful thing you can do is let go, to cut off what's holding you back, to free yourself from the negative influences and distractions that keep you stuck. Cutting off does not mean you're being harsh or unkind. It doesn't mean you are abandoning people or responsibilities. It simply means you are making a deliberate decision to protect your peace, to protect your energy, and to preserve the focus that is needed to move forward. Too often we hold on to situations, relationships, or even old versions of ourselves that are no longer in alignment with where we are going. We hold on because we fear the unknown, or we feel guilty for stepping away. But what if by cutting off the wrong things, we are actually making room for the right things? What if by letting go of the distractions, we are allowing ourselves to move into the fullness of our potential? The strength of cutting off is about boundaries. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, your focus are precious commodities. And if you don't protect them, you will find yourself constantly overwhelmed, constantly drained, and constantly off course. You see, not everything deserves your attention. Not every person deserves your time. Not every opportunity deserves your effort. The strength of cutting off is about discernment. It's about knowing that some things, some people, and some situations no longer align with your vision for your life. And it takes strength to say no more. It takes strength to stop giving your energy to things that are going nowhere. To stop allowing yourself to be caught in the web of people or circumstances that do not value your growth or your well-being. When you begin to cut off what doesn't serve you, something amazing happens. You begin to reclaim your energy, your time, and your focus. You begin to realize that by saying no to the wrong things, you are saying yes to your higher purpose, your dreams, your future. You stop wasting time on relationships that drain you, and instead you invest that energy into people and experiences that uplift you. You stop pouring into situations that only bring stress and conflict, and you begin to pour into opportunities that bring you peace, clarity, and advancement. Cutting off is not just about the people around you, it's also about cutting off the things inside of you that hold you. Mastering emotional control is one of the most transformative and empowering skills you can develop on your journey to greatness. You see, emotions are a natural part of being human. We feel joy, we feel sadness, we feel anger, and we feel fear. These emotions are not the problem, it's how we respond to them that determines the course of our lives. When we fail to control our emotions, we become slaves to them. We react impulsively, allowing our feelings to dictate our actions, often leading us down paths we never intended to walk. But when we take control of our emotions, we reclaim our power. Imagine being able to face life's challenges, no matter how difficult, with a steady heart and a calm mind. Imagine responding to criticism or conflict with composure instead of being swept away by the tidal wave of frustration or hurt. Mastering emotional control is not about suppressing or denying our feelings. It's about choosing how we respond to them rather than letting them control us. Think about it for a moment. How often have you allowed your emotions to drive you into decisions you later regretted? Maybe you said something in anger that you wished you could take back, or you let fear hold you back from an opportunity that could have changed your life. These are moments where our emotions are steering the ship and we find ourselves off course. But when we master emotional control, we learn to respond, not react. We gain the ability to step back, take a deep breath, and decide how we want to respond, not just what feels right in the heat of the moment. One of the greatest gifts of emotional control is the ability to stay calm in the storm. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. Situations will unfold that are beyond your control. And in those moments, your emotions will rise. But it is in those very moments that your power is most evident, not in how loudly you shout, but in how calmly you respond. In your ability to stay grounded, to remain steady, and to keep your eyes fixed on your goals. This is what makes you resilient. This is what makes you unstoppable. When you master emotional control, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop reacting to the world around you and start responding with intention. You stop allowing others to dictate your emotional state, and you take full responsibility for how you feel. You choose peace even when chaos surrounds you. You choose confidence even in the face of doubt. You choose to stay calm when the world around you is in turmoil. And in doing so, you become a beacon of strength, of clarity, and of purpose. A focused life is a life of intention. It is the life of a person who wakes up every day with a sense of clarity and purpose, knowing exactly where they are going and why they are going there. In a world that bombards us with distractions, social media noise, endless to-do lists, and a constant demand for our attention, the ability to focus becomes not just a skill, but a superpower. When you live a focused life, you stop drifting through each day, reacting to whatever comes your way. Instead, you take command of your life and your time. You direct your energy toward the things that truly matter, and you let go of the things that don't. Think about the people you admire most, the leaders, the innovators, the visionaries. What sets them apart is their ability to focus. They don't get lost in the chaos of the world around them. They understand that success doesn't come from doing a little bit of everything. It comes from doing what matters most with all your heart, all your energy, and all your attention. The focused life is not about multitasking or trying to juggle a million things at once. It's about single-minded dedication to what will move you forward. It's about saying no to the distractions and yes to the things that are aligned with your deepest goals. Living a focused life is also about eliminating clutter, mental clutter, emotional clutter, and physical clutter. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to think clearly when your environment is messy, or when your mind is filled with a million thoughts and worries? When your focus is scattered, your energy is scattered. You can't move forward because you're constantly pulled in different directions. But when you clear the clutter, when you remove the distractions, you give yourself the gift of focus. You free up your mind to think clearly, to plan strategically, and to take action with purpose. The focused life allows you to see opportunities where others see obstacles. When you are focused on your vision, nothing can derail you. You become like a laser beam, cutting through the fog of distractions and staying on course. Every decision you make, every action you take becomes a step toward your ultimate goal. And this is where the magic happens. The more focused you are, the more you begin to align every part of your life with your purpose. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start to pour your energy into the things that. There is a unique power in silence that many fail to understand. It's not the silence of passivity, nor is it the silence born of fear. The silent warrior is not someone who avoids the world or shrinks back in the face of conflict. No, the silent warrior is one who knows that true strength doesn't need to shout to be heard. They know that the loudest voice in the room is not always the one that commands respect. Often, the most powerful person is the one who remains calm amidst chaos, who stands firm without needing to argue or prove anything. The silent warrior is someone who understands that the most potent responses don't always come from speaking, they come from actions, from focus, and yes, from silence. Imagine for a moment what it would be like if you didn't feel the need to react to every insult, every challenge, or every little irritation that comes your way. The silent warrior doesn't waste time engaging in unnecessary battles. They know that their energy is precious, and they choose to conserve it for the battles that truly matter. It's not that they don't feel anger or frustration, it's that they understand those emotions don't have to control them. A silent warrior doesn't let their feelings dictate their actions. They are not ruled by the moment, by external circumstances, or by the behavior of others. They stand in the face of adversity and remain unmoved, not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough to stay true to their inner peace. There is a dignity in silence that many overlook. In a world that thrives on noise, on social media rants, on public debates, on the constant clamor for attention, the silent warrior understands that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every word is worth speaking. They choose their words carefully because they know that once spoken, words cannot be taken back. They understand that silence can speak louder than any outburst or argument ever could. It's in their silence that others learn to listen, because the silent warrior speaks with their actions. They speak with their resolve, with their purpose, and with their unwavering commitment to their vision. In moments of great turmoil or crisis, when everyone else is reacting out of fear or panic, the silent warrior remains grounded. They don't let the storm rattle them. They don't let the storm rattle them. They know that calmness is not the absence of difficulty, it is the ability to remain steady while everything around you is shaking. And it's in that steadiness, that quiet strength, that true power is revealed. People look to the silent warrior for guidance, for stability, because they have cultivated the inner peace that can withstand any storm. The silent warrior also understands the power of cutting off what does not serve them. They are not afraid to let go of toxic relationships, harmful habits, or distractions that prevent them from moving forward. They don't engage in drama, not because they are afraid to confront issues, but because they know that to engage in drama is to waste energy that could be better spent on creating something meaningful. The silent warrior knows when to walk away from what doesn't contribute to their growth. They don't need to justify themselves. They don't need to explain their decisions to anyone. They move forward with quiet conviction, cutting off anything that would distract them from their purpose. In the pursuit of greatness, there will always be noise. There will always be those who try to pull you into their conflicts, their frustrations, and their opinions. But the silent warrior rises above it all. They don't lower themselves to petty arguments. They stay focused on their mission, understanding that they do not need the approval of others to know their own worth. They understand that true strength is not about being the loudest in the room, but about being the most centered, the most committed to their purpose. And so I challenge you today to adopt the mindset of the silent warrior. Don't react. Don't engage with the noise. Stand firm in your peace, in your focus, and in your clarity. The world will try to pull you into its chaos, but you have the power to rise above it. You don't need to justify yourself to anyone. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. When you are rooted in your purpose, when you are unwavering in your commitment to your vision, your silence will speak louder than any words ever could. Rise in silence, stand in strength. Become the silent warrior who moves with purpose, with peace, and with power. As we stand in a world that constantly pulls at us, seeking our attention, demanding our reaction, and inviting us into its chaos, remember this: true power lies not in how loudly you speak, but in how wisely you remain silent. The silent warrior is not one who avoids conflict, but one who understands that not every battle is worth fighting and not every voice needs to be heard. They are strong enough to protect their peace, grounded enough to stay focused, and wise enough to know that their energy is their greatest resource. When you choose silence, you choose strength. When you cut off what doesn't serve you, you create space for what does. When you master your emotions, you control your destiny. And when you live a focused life, you align every action with your purpose. So, I challenge you today, don't be swayed by the noise. Don't react to every provocation. Rise above the distractions. Become the silent warrior who moves through the world with purpose, with peace, and with unshakable strength. Your life is your message. Let it speak with quiet power, with profound focus, and with unwavering resolve. The world will try to pull you into its drama. Let them scream, let them show.